beneath nearly 2.5 miles of crushing Atlantic water, below temperatures cold enough to freeze breath into stone, lies a world suspended between life and oblivion, a place untouched by sunlight for more than a century. Here, in the shattered shadows of the Titanic's interior, the ROV approaches something extraordinary. Not empty halls, not collapsing beams, but luggage, suitcases, trunks, lockboxes, still sitting where their owners left them, still heavy with the remains of hope, luxury, ambition, and the fragments of lives that never reached their destination. And for the first time, we see what has been sealed beneath the Atlantic silence for 113 years. The ROV descends into a pocket of the wreck where time has barely moved. Sediment hangs in the water like drifting smoke, stirred only by the machine's slow movement. Ahead sits a collapsed suitcase, its lid torn but still holding shape. As the ROV circles in, mineral dust rises from its edges, and beneath that dust, the first shapes begin to appear. Not clothing, those vanished long ago. But what clothing once carried? Metal collar stiffeners, decorative stays from expensive coats, gold-tinted buttons fused to mineralized cloth outlines. They look fossilized, as if the ocean, instead of erasing them, chose to immortalize them. Each metal piece is twisted, coral-threaded, eerie and delicate, like underwater sculptures carved by pressure itself. This was someone's best outfit, their formal wear for a journey meant to mark a new beginning. Now it rests here. More relic than belonging, the next trunk sits wedged between two buckled beams. Its lid has been frozen open by rust, revealing shapes half buried in silt. The ROV eases inside, and slowly the forms become clearer. Jewelry frames, the empty skeletons of necklaces, brooch outlines once meant to sparkle with gemstones, bracelet frames curled into metallic vines. But something miraculous has happened. In the space where gemstones once sat, coral has grown, filling the hollow settings like nature's diamonds. Crystal-like formations shimmer where jewels once rested. The ocean has created replacements, cold, ghostly, and mesmerizing. These were luxury pieces carried by passengers who believed they were bringing their finest treasures across the sea. They could never have imagined their jewelry would transform into underwater crystal gardens, fused permanently with the Atlantic. The ROV shifts deeper into the chamber and discovers a larger suitcase, one reinforced with metal bands. Inside lies something unexpected, a musical instrument, a brass horn twisted and heavy with corrosion, its valves locked in place, its bell filled with silt and mineral growth. A musician brought this on board, perhaps for the journey, perhaps for performance, perhaps as a companion on a new life ahead. Now it sits motionless, frozen mid-song, the ocean preserving its shape but silencing its voice forever. Nearby, the ROV finds additional metallic sound pieces, a tuning element, a partial valve section, all fused by rust into a single mass. A story of someone who planned to bring music across the ocean, but never played another note. The next discovery feels deeply personal. Inside a partially open case lies a chain of metal medals, oxidized, coral encrusted, barely readable, but unmistakably meaningful. Each medal hangs from a thick, rusted link, once worn proudly, tokens of achievement, honor, or heritage. The ROV lifts the chain gently. The medals drift upward, suspended like shattered memory, still connected, still together. A person carried these with pride, kept them safe through travel, only to have them rest at the bottom of the Atlantic for over a century. They are no longer symbols of victory, but symbols of the fragility of human life. The next trunk is different, larger, heavier. Its metal surface thick with green corrosion, its edges reinforced as if it once held something valuable. Silt explodes upward as the ROV peers inside, at first only shadows. Then shapes emerge, glinting faintly beneath the dust. Gold bars, real gold, stacked tightly side by side, each bar mottled with marine corrosion, yet unmistakably bright beneath the mineral scars. It's unclear who they belong to: a wealthy traveler, a family carrying their savings, a shipment intended for trade. The ocean kept the secret, but not the gold. The bars look like ancient treasure, resting quietly in a world where wealth means nothing. Nearby, another trunk reveals the skeletal remains of luxury fashion. Corset frames, metal bodice supports, decorative plates from high-end gowns, all twisted by pressure but still unmistakable in design. Coral sprouting from them like underwater lace, sponge colonies hugging the curves, mineral frost covering every inch in pale crystals. These pieces once represented status, elegance, and wealth, fabrics tailored by skilled hands, worn by first-class passengers, expecting the grandest voyage of their lives. Now the metal remains tell a different story, one of fragility disguised as sophistication. A smaller case lies half buried in silt. Inside is a tiny metal cylinder with decorative patterns along its surface. A keepsake box, perhaps a child's precious treasure. Its lid is fused shut by rust. Its surface is wrapped in coral threads and white calcium blooms. Inside could be anything: a trinket, a charm, a tiny possession held onto tightly. The ROV cannot open it without risking destruction, so it remains sealed, its contents locked away. A private secret carried to the ocean floor. As the ROV enters the last section of the luggage room, multiple trunks sit torn open, their contents spilling into the sand. In one, a cluster of ornate metal accessories, brooch outlines, necklace frames, earring skeletons, rest beneath layers of coral growth. In another, a heap of decorative garment fasteners glitter faintly under the ROV's beam, and beside it, a third chest holding more gold bars, some scattered onto the floor like abandoned treasure. This final chamber feels like a museum, but one curated by the ocean itself. Each item is a fragment of a life interrupted, a life frozen, not in ice, but in time. What remains of Titanic's luggage is not fabric or photographs, not letters or documents, not clothing or books, but the pieces that time could not erase: metal, minerals, coral, and memories. Every frame, clasp, brooch, buckle, and bar is a silent artifact of a dream, cut short. These suitcases are not just containers. They are final chapters, final breaths, final hopes, preserved in the deep like monuments to the lives interrupted on April 15th, 1912. And though the ocean claimed them, their stories remain, etched into rust, coral, and the cold silence of the Atlantic. For 113 years they were hidden. Tonight, we saw them. The lost luggage of Titanic. Not forgotten, but finally revealed.